Good morning. Well, it's 9 o'clock. I'm off today, so I'm not working. Hope you guys know my video I made yesterday. Ugh. Ivan, that was a sick video. I know it was a sick video. I hope you enjoyed it. So I'm off today, but I work tomorrow at Dinty's. And I work Wednesday at Dinty's. I think I get Thursday off. Yeah. I most likely work Friday, Sunday at Coco 40 this week again. You look a bit jet lagged. Yeah, I just woke up, man. I made breakfast upstairs. Sausages and eggs. Yeah. And I made coffee. I'm gonna go upstairs and get my coffee, guys, and go down in like 5-6 minutes. I'm gonna go upstairs and get my coffee. Some Sarah? Yeah. Yes, I hope I challenge you Christians out there. I think this whole thing about how Jesus never did a bad guy, I think it's bullshit. Impossible, man. I'm sorry. There's no way as a human being he cannot lust after a woman in his heart. It's impossible. You can't control your thoughts. It's impossible, man. I'm sorry, guys. It's bullshit. Yeah. No, Ivan, he never lusts after a woman in his heart. No, man. It's impossible, man. You see an attractive chick, you can't control your thoughts. Oh, this chick is hot. I'd bang her. The moment he thinks the thought, I'd bang her, he lusted after her in his heart. You can't control that, man. It's human nature to lust after a woman in your heart. But he didn't do it. He's still holy. But Christians take it to the extreme where he doesn't even lust after a woman in his heart, man. You guys are crazy people, yeah. It's impossible, guys. And I'm saying this as someone who's God, man, who's the son of God, who's holy. I've lusted after a woman many times in my heart, man. But I never had sex with a woman. I'm so holy and good, right? It's impossible to not lust after an attractive woman and an attractive man. You're gonna have those thoughts, man. It's human nature. Sincere? Yeah. Even married couples lust after a woman in their heart. All the time. You can't control it, man. When you see an attractive chick, sometimes you have that thought, oh my god, she's hot, I'd bang that. Even married couples have those thoughts. Because it's human nature to have those thoughts, right? We're human beings. But Christians actually think Jesus actually never even thought about banging a chick, man. Because you guys are crazy people, man. No, I mean, his thoughts were completely pure and holy. He never even had those thoughts. Well, in the Old Testament, he had murderous thoughts towards those what? Towards those, that same Jesus you said, suppose we never did this. It's blasphemy, you're a heretic. That very same Jesus in the Old Testament had murderous thoughts towards the children and what? And the people that he murdered, that he wiped out and killed. Murderous thoughts towards them. So if he as God can have murderous thoughts towards the children and the nations, what makes you think if you taste on human beings you won't have thoughts about women, man? You guys are fucking inconsistent, man. Be consistent with your arguments. And that guy who commented on my channel, I say, oh, if Jesus messed up and did bad things, how can he be the lamb without blemish? I'm like, yeah, it's talking about his nature. It's not talking about his deeds. But he interprets it to mean his deeds, because the church always interprets sinless to talk about his deeds. Yeah. Some Sarah? Yeah. Yeah, I mean goddess, man, yeah. All you gotta do is just throw the argument back at us and refute us. Yes, I can refute all of you guys with your answers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if Jesus messed up or did a bad deed, then he can't be the lamb without blemish. And that very same lamb that you said can't do a bad deed or can't mess up, and is lamb without blemish, had murderous thoughts towards the people in the Old Testament. He killed people. He had murder. Because he killed them, he had murderous thoughts towards them, obviously, right? Yeah. So if he as God can have murderous thoughts towards the nations and the children, what makes you think if he takes on human flesh, he will not have thoughts towards woman, man? Of course he would. He's a human being. But you guys are inconsistent with your arguments. Yeah. I learned about throwing the argument right back at people from Sam Shamoon. Sam Shamoon always does that. He likes throwing the arguments right back at them. And that's how he refutes his opponents. And I learned that, yeah, if someone tries to refute you with an argument, throw the argument right back at them and you end up refuting them. They can't say shit, right? Yeah. Sincere? Yeah. Throw it right back at them. Sincere? Yeah. I'm gonna get my coffee soon, guys. Throw the argument right back at them. That's what you do. That guy thought he could review. Yeah, how can he be the lamb without blemish? Well, yeah, his nature's pure. It's talking about his nature. It's not talking about his deeds, man. That guy interprets it to be deeds. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have to be consistent, Christians, if you're saying lamb without blemish means his deeds, obviously, he never did a bad deed, that means you're saying he never had a thought towards banging a woman, man. Because you guys are crazy people. You're saying Jesus never did one bad deed. That means even you're saying he never thought bad thoughts and all that stuff. If you want to be consistent, it's impossible to not think bad thoughts. It's impossible, man. No, Ivan, even his thoughts were pure and holy. He never had a lustful thought towards a woman. Bullshit. I call that bullshit. No way. It's impossible, man. No way. There's no way Jesus never had a lustful thought of a woman. But because he didn't do it, he's still holy, right? But you guys push his holiness to the extreme because you're crazy people. And so if I taught this in the pulpit, all these pastors would kick me out, man. Because I'm teaching a heretical doctrine, supposedly, right? Does Sam Shamoon disagree with you? Yeah, he does. I've seen many sessions on Sam Shamoon where he teaches that Christ never did a bad deed either. Sam Shamoon believes Christ never did a bad deed. You know, I mean, if for Christ to be the perfect sacrifice, lamb without blemish, he can never do a bad deed in his life. So you're saying he never had thoughts towards women? No, Ivan, he never had lustful thoughts towards women. Like, that's bullshit, man. There's no way, as a human being, he never had lustful thoughts towards women. He was tempted at all points like we are, without sin. But most Christians interpret that to mean he was tempted, but he didn't do the bad deed. But how can you be tempted? How can you be tempted? Ivan, he was only tempted outwardly. That's what it means. So you're saying that when Paul says he was tempted like we are, he connected it to how we're tempted. That means you're saying. So when Paul says Jesus was tempted at all points like we are, without sin, that's talking about his deeds. That means when women were hitting on Jesus, he wasn't really tempted then because what? Yeah, Ivan, he was never tempted inwardly but outwardly. I agree. Inwardly he was never tempted because his nature was holy. But outwardly he was because he took on human flesh. He did the bad deeds, but his nature was holy. Sincere? And if you're saying that Christ never thought a bad thought, then you just refute yourself because Paul said he was tempted at all points like we are. How can Jesus be tempted if he never thought a bad thought about a woman? It doesn't make any sense. Woman hit on him, he doesn't have a boner, he's not tempted at all. But Paul clearly says he was tempted like we are. So you just refute yourself. It doesn't make any sense. Because Christians actually think Jesus actually never thought bad thoughts too. Ivan, he never thought a bad thought in his life. His thoughts were always holy and pure. Because he was a holy man. And in the Old Testament, he has murderous thoughts towards these children. As God, by the way, not as a human being. And he's wiping out nations and the Old Testament atrocities, right? And Sam knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know about the Old Testament atrocities. Jesus murdered a lot of people, man. Yeah, he did. He murdered a lot of people in the Old Testament. So Christians are inconsistent with their arguments, yeah. Oh, it's actually funny. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to go to get my coffee. I'll be back in a second. Excuse me if you don't want to wait. All right, I'm back, guys. Well, I'm supposed to get my coffee, my chocolate coffee. It's really good. When I start Scotch Entertainment, I'm going to have nice coffee for my team and everything. Yeah, my nice office here. Yeah, Christians, they take the extreme view of Jesus. It's crazy, man. They actually think he never even had lustful thoughts towards women. It's bullshit. Of course he did, man. He's a human being. Tempted on points like we are. Yeah. Paul is making the same, if he wrote Hebrews, Paul is making the same connection to the human beings who are sinners to Jesus. He was tempted on points like we are, yet without sin. If it says he was tempted on points like we are, yet without sin, and it means he didn't do a bad deed, the passage doesn't make any sense. He was tempted, but he didn't do the bad deed, Ivan. But Paul says, if you wrote Hebrews, like we are, he said like tempted like we are. Why is he making the connection to the human beings? He wouldn't have made the connection to the human beings if Jesus was not tempted like we are, right? Tempted exactly like we are. So, yeah. So when we're hitting on him, he was tempted, he had lustful thoughts of banging them, but he didn't do it. Because his nature is sinless, obviously. But he was tempted like we were, man. He went through what we did. That's why Paul says he can sympathize with our weaknesses. Because he went through what we went through. Now, if Jesus didn't do a bad deed, how can he truly sympathize with what we went through? If he never did a bad deed once in his life, how can he sympathize with what we went through? He can't relate to us because he never did a bad deed, but he can relate to us because he went through what we went through. He can sympathize with our weaknesses, and he was tempted on points like we are. He's making a connection to the sinners, man. Yeah. And I read you the passage in Hebrews where it says, in the days of his flesh, he offered up vehement cries and prayers and supplications to the one who was saved from death. Though he was a son, yet he learned obedience. And Christians have to find a way to dance around that passage. Ivan, it doesn't really mean he learned obedience, but he was perfect, Ivan. No, but how can he learn obedience if he's already obedient? If he's already obedient his whole life, it doesn't make any sense. How can he learn obedience? How can you learn obedience if you're already obedient? And how can you become perfected if you're already perfect? You can't perfect perfection. If Jesus never did a bad deed his whole life, how can he become perfected? Unless there's something the Gospels are not telling us. He did bad deeds. But he was a good, holy man, and his nature was sinless, obviously. Sincere? I know I'm a genius. I know how to blow your mind away. I'm a genius, yeah. yeah. And that guy who commented on my channel, yeah, Jesus, how can Jesus be the Lamb without blemish if he did a mess up or did a bad deed? Oh boy, as if you're free, you know what I'm saying? No, dude, that passage when it says Lamb without blemish is talking about his name, it's not talking about his deeds. And that very same Jesus who you said, how can he be the Lamb without, how can he be the perfect Lamb without blemish and mess up and do that a bad deed? That very same Jesus who was a Lamb without blemish, that you said obviously, is the very same Jesus who murdered people in the Old Testament. And you're being inconsistent, I just refute you, man. So stop being inconsistent with your arguments. Yeah. This is the way the Christians think. So Jesus as God has murderous thoughts towards the children and all the nations that he wipes out in the atrocities in the Old Testament, right? As God, he didn't take on human flesh. And then when he takes on human flesh, if he does a bad deed, now it's blasphemy and it's heretical. So if God takes on human flesh, him doing a bad deed is a heretical doctrine. But when he's God in the Old Testament, when he did not take on human flesh and he murdered people, did a bad deed, and had murderous thoughts towards those children and the nations, right? That's fine. And Christians are inconsistent with arguments. That's why I just refuted you guys, because I threw the argument right back at you. You're being inconsistent with your arguments. Yeah. So if I debated someone on this topic, I would throw that argument towards them, and it's a refutation. You can't refute it. You know, Ivan, you got us. I can't refute that, man. Like, if he's God, as God in the Old Testament, he did not take on human flesh. You know what I'm saying? But yet he had murderous thoughts towards those children and the nations, and he murdered people. There's nothing worse than murder, right? That very same Jesus who says, allow me without blemish, never did bad in the New Testament. Yeah, we're being inconsistent. Yeah, he never did bad deed as a human being. Yeah, we're inconsistent. You got us, Ivan. Yes, I got you. And I learned that from Sam Shamoon. You throw the argument right back at them, right? Yeah, I call this the Christianity dilemma. The Jesus holiness thing. There's a dilemma in Christianity when it comes to Jesus' holy nature, because you have him in the Old Testament murdering people, and in the New Testament, when he takes on flesh, he didn't do one bad deed, never thought one bad thought. So as God, he can think murderous thoughts towards his children and wipe out the nations, obviously. He murdered people. He killed people, right? That's a bad deed, obviously. There's nothing worse than murder. And in the New Testament, when he takes on human flesh, he never did one bad deed. And if he did do a bad deed or even thought was a woman, it's now he cuts himself out on the Father. And the Christians end up refuting themselves. And I call it the Christianity dilemma. You know, Sam Shamoon and David would have the Islamic dilemma. This is the Christianity dilemma. The Jesus holiness thing. Yeah, we have a dilemma. In the New Testament, Jesus never did a bad deed. Supposedly, when he took on human flesh, he was allowed without blemish. I think it's talking about his nature. If he did a bad deed, he would have cut off his relationship with the Father. But Ivan gave us a dilemma. Him in the Old Testament, as God, who did not take on human flesh, did a bad deed and he murdered people. So we have a dilemma with Christ's holiness. Yeah, Christians have this dilemma with Christ's holiness. I call it the Christianity dilemma. You know, Samuel and David would have that video, the Islamic dilemma, about the Gospels, Muhammad confirming the Bible. Yeah, this is a dilemma that Christians have, and they're inconsistent with their approach, obviously, to Christ's holiness. Inconsistent, right? Yeah. When you debate a Christian on this topic, yes, I would. And I think I would have good enough arguments to give them a run for his money or even beat them, because I'm gifted. I will quote him the passage from Hebrew, and I would exegete it. I would tell, okay, you got to tell me what this passage really means. How can Christ, who's already obedient, learn obedience? And how can he be perfected if he's already perfect? Or the only way they can answer the question, they have to dance around the question. It doesn't really mean that, Ivan. Like, Christ was perfect, but like he became perfected. But how can he become perfected if he's already perfect? And how can he learn obedience if he's already obedient, if he's been obedient his whole life? He matured and became perfected by the time of the crucifixion. He matured through his life, yeah. He became the perfect man. Oh. He was the perfect man. Compared to everyone else, he was the perfect man, but that doesn't mean he didn't do bad deeds, right? Yeah. That's my point. Yeah, but Ivan, Jesus said if you lust after a woman in his heart, you're already committing adultery. If Jesus did that, he would have sinned against the Father. Okay, now I'm going to throw the argument right back out in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, God says, if thou shalt murder, you commit sin. And then God is murdering people left and right in the Old Testament. Did God break his own law there? No, we didn't, Ivan. Yeah, I got you. I just refuted you, man. See what I'm saying? You got to be consistent with your arguments. Just because Jesus says, if you look at a woman, you commit adultery in your heart, it's a general statement. Look, do your very best to stay away from sin. If you're tempted and you're lusting after a woman, you gotta cast it down. Stay away from sin, but it doesn't mean he didn't do bad deeds. He wasn't tempted, right? You have to look at the context of the scripture, right? And I'm not kidding around. If Christians bring that passage up to me, all I gotta do is throw the argument right back. I'm gonna throw the argument right back at you in the Old Testament, man. In the Old Testament, God had in the Ten Commandments, "Thou shalt not murder," and He's murdering people left and right in the Old Testament. Did God break His own law there? No, we didn't, Ivan. So if Jesus lusted after a woman's own heart, even though He said you shouldn't lust after a woman in your heart, did He break His own law, or you have to look at the context of Scripture? Yeah, look at the context of Scripture, Ivan. Yeah, we're inconsistent. You got us, Ivan. Yes, and that's how you refute the argument. I'm a genius. Yeah. Samsara? I told you, if I taught this in the church, Sam Shamoon, Anthony Rogers, David Wood, they would kick me out. You're a heretic, man. You actually think Jesus did bad things? Yeah, I do. I think this whole extreme view of Jesus, I think it's bullshit, man. I'm sorry, man. There's no way, as a human being, he did not do bad deeds, and there's no way. What? He never thought a lustful thought towards a woman. Come on, guys. Come on. That is impossible. As a human being, impossible, man. Jesus was human too. Don't forget that, right? When women were hitting on him, he had those thoughts towards him, obviously, but he didn't do it because he's holy. His nature's holy, yeah. Just like me, I had many lustful thoughts towards women. Woman at work, woman at work, woman when I see attractive women, when I see attractive couples, I have thoughts, oh my God, I'd bang that chick, but I don't do it because I'm holy. And I love my wife, but I told you, because my wife's a cheating whore, I actually am going to get my girlfriend because she pisses me off. She wants her full cake. I'm going to get my girlfriend to get my own soon. If she's pissed off, that's too bad. I'm going to ignore her. Because she had her fair share of boyfriends in Hollywood and a mess happened. She's crazy. Yeah, she's a crazy woman. Samsara? Yeah. Yeah. Check my food upstairs. I made breakfast. Back to the sec house. Yeah, I call this the Christianity dilemma. I believe the whole Jesus holiness, you have a dilemma in the Bible. Because as a human being on earth, he's very good, obviously. He never did one bad deed. But in the Old Testament, he's doing a bunch of bad deeds, killing people, man. So you have this dilemma with Christ's holiness. And Christians are very inconsistent when it comes to Jesus' holiness in the Bible. It's an inconsistency, yeah. I believe he was a holy good man. His nature was holy, but it doesn't mean he, as a man, he didn't do bad deeds. If he can do bad deeds as God, he can do bad deeds as a man. Like, how much more can he not do a bad deed if he takes on human flesh? Come on. If as God, when he didn't take on flesh, he can do a bad deed. Of course, as a human being, he can do a bad deed. And it's a refutation. You're being inconsistent with your arguments, Christians. He never did one bad deed. Otherwise, he can't be the Lamb without blemish. Yeah, you guys interpret Lamb without blemish to mean his deeds. It's talking about his nature, man. His DNA. It's holy and pure. Without blemish. There's no sin in it. But most people interpret that to mean his deeds. People always focus on the deed. Yeah, Christ's righteousness is his deeds, Ivan. It's not his nature. It's not his nature, I'm saying. Yeah. The demons say, Christ, you are the holy one of God. Because when the demons see Jesus, they see the holy nature, obviously, of the Son, the divine holy nature of the Son. You're the holy one of God. They can sense his presence, right? Yeah, when he was on earth. That's why they're calling him the Holy One of God. Because the demons, because they're spiritual beings, they can see, even though Jesus looks like a Jew, when they look inside him, they see the divine holy nature of the Son. You are the Holy One of God. They see what they see with the Son, the holy one of God. Yeah. But most Christians interpret it when they say Holy One of God, they mean because he's a holy man in his deeds. It's talking about his nature, man, not his deeds. The deeds has the part to play, obviously. I agree with that. But the main thing about Christ's righteousness is his nature. That's where I see it. It's not his deeds. It's talking about the nature. The nature is uncorrupt and pure. It comes from the Father. Yeah. But most Christians interpret when it says Christ is a righteous man, it's his deeds, Ivan. He never did one bad deed. That's what it means. It's talking about his nature. His nature is holy. His nature is holy, yeah. And that's why throughout his life he had that constant struggle with his flesh and his divine nature. It was a clash. When he did a bad deed, it affected him because his nature is automatically holy. And that's why he's in vehement, he's in prayer all the time, and he's crying out to the Father, and the Father's like, good job, son. He's living a good, holy life. But it doesn't mean he didn't do a bad deed. The Father was pleased with his life, and he was sufficient for the sacrifice for the world. Some Sarah? Yeah. You're crazy. That's a heretical doctrine. Well, I disagree with you guys, but I think this whole thing about Jesus and everything about these bullshit. I'm sorry, guys. I don't buy that at all. It's impossible, man, for human beings not to do a bad deed. Yeah. Impossible. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. It's impossible for human beings. Yeah. Impossible for human beings to never do bad in your life. That's impossible, man. It's impossible. Yeah, but he was sinless, man. Well, as God, he's also sinless too, right? And he murdered people, so you have to be consistent with your arguments, man. Don't be inconsistent. I call this a Christianity dilemma. You can't be inconsistent with your arguments, Christians. So I'm sorry. As God, he was also sinless, no sin in him, and he still had murderous thoughts towards the children, and he wiped out nations and killed people, man. So how can he be sinless as God and kill people? If you're going to be consistent with your arguments. Yeah, you refute us. Yes, I refute you. You can't be inconsistent with your arguments, guys. So I'm saying. Yeah, even as God, he's sinless, but he still murdered people in the Old Testament. But as a human being, he's also sinless, but he never did one bad deed because you're inconsistent with your arguments. Yeah. If he did a bad deed, he would carve himself all with the Father, Ivan. You know what I'm saying? Because Christians are inconsistent with their arguments, yeah. Inconsistent, yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. So Ivan, David Wood, Sam Shamoon, Anthony Rogers, James White, and all them, they don't agree with you. No, they don't. I saw videos of Sam Shamoon. He agrees. He agrees that Jesus never did one bad deed too. Sam takes the extreme approach too about Jesus. He never did one bad deed in his life, Ivan. Otherwise, he would have sinned against the Father. Because he was a lamb without blemish. But I interpret lamb without blemish to mean his nature. His nature is pure and uncorrupt. It's not touched by sin. Yeah, but Ivan, if he did a bad deed, then he would have sinned because his nature is sinless. Okay, I'm not, now I'm going to throw the argument right back at you. As God in the Old Testament, he was also sinless too, right? He didn't take on flesh. Yeah, he was sinless, Ivan. But yet he had murderous thoughts towards the children, and he murdered many, many people, wiped out nations and killed them. And this is when he was God. He did not take on flesh, and he also had his sinless nature too. So it's a refutation. You just contradict yourself, and you're being inconsistent with your arguments. And I learned this from Sam. Throw the argument right back at them. Yeah, I do that all the time. The best way to refute someone is you throw the argument right back at them and you refute them and they can't answer the question. Yeah, I mean, you gods, we can't answer that now. We're inconsistent. If Jesus is God, he's sinless. Yeah, he's sinless in the Old Testament, but he still had nervous thoughts towards those children and killed them. But when he takes on flesh and he's sinless, if he did a bad deed, he was saying as a father, we're being inconsistent with our arguments. Yes, you are. And it's a refutation. So, Sarah, that's my point. Yeah, we can't answer that. You got us, man. Yeah, you can't answer it. Well, the only way people can refute me is quoting all the good stuff Jesus did in the New Testament, and quoting the passages where he says you should stay away from drinking. If whoever looks upon a woman lusts out of their heart has committed adultery in his heart. How can Jesus make those commandments and what and go against his own commandments? Well, in the way I see it, these commandments are general statements. The whole point of Jesus is stay away, do whatever you can to stay away from sin, from doing bad deeds. But it doesn't mean he didn't do the bad deeds. But Ivan, he would contradict himself. Okay, now I'm going to throw the argument right back at you, like Samson taught me, right? In the Old Testament, God wrote in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not murder, and yet he's murdering people left and right in the Old Testament. Did God go against his own law there? They pause for a second. Yeah, you got me, Ivan. We're being inconsistent. Yeah, you're being inconsistent with the arguments. Samsara? Yeah. Samsara? Yeah. Samsara? Yeah. I told you, all these Christian apologists and preachers around, Perry Stone, you know what I'm saying? Anthony Rogers, David Wood, Sam Shamoon, they all think I'm a heretic, obviously. They think my view is extreme. You know, if you take the radical approach of Jesus' holiness, I disagree with you. He can't leave the land without blood if he did a bad deed, Ivan. Because there's no sin in him. Yeah, no sin in him is talking about his nature. It's not talking about his deeds, man. It's talking about his holy divine nature. There's no sin in his nature. It's a pure holy gene of the Father. It's pure and uncorrupted by and not touched by Adam's sin. Yeah. Yeah, Ivan, if you taught this in the pulpit, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe what I'm thinking, I might, I'll probably do a few debates here and there against Muslims on Christian topics. I might maybe offer to preach on this topic to challenge Christians out there, man. And once I preach that, the whole Christian world will be going crazy. Ivan's a heretic. I'll be receiving all this hate, but and I'm saying, but yeah, even though we're hating on Ivan, he did challenge us, man, with our beliefs, and it's a refutation. Yeah, it's a refutation. You have something called the Christianity dilemma with Jesus' holiness in the Bible. That's the truth, man. You have something called the Christianity dilemma with Jesus' holiness. As God in the Old Testament, he's doing bad deeds left and right, murdering people. In New Testament, he's a saint. He never did one bad deed. But then I can throw the argument right back at them, and you have a dilemma. It's a contradiction. You're inconsistent with your arguments. Yeah. Samsara? Samsara? My food should be ready soon, guys. Good, maybe 10 minutes my food will be ready. I'm gonna get my sausages and my eggs with ketchup. Yeah. Samsara? Samsara? Yeah. So do you think all Christians disagree with you? Yeah. There's some Christians who probably take my approach. I think you're right. I think that passage in Hebrews shows us evidence that Jesus did bad deeds. I think this. Some Christians obviously think I'm right, but most Christians don't take my approach. They believe in the extreme view that when it says Jesus is righteous, he never even thought bad thoughts towards women, that kind of stuff, towards people. So when he was angry at the Pharisees, you're saying he didn't have bad thoughts towards them? No, I mean, his thought, even while he was angry, his thoughts were pure. I'm like, yeah, you guys are crazy people. Of course he got bad thoughts towards them. You brood of vipers, you snakes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you're saying Jesus didn't have those thoughts. Oh my God, these guys are wicked people. They deserve to go to hell. Of course he got those thoughts. He was a human being. But because Christians are crazy, they say, yeah, it was righteous anger. It was righteous anger. I agree with that. But he obviously had thoughts towards those Pharisees. He was angry. No, Ivan, he was angry outwardly, but inwardly his thoughts were still pure because you guys are crazy people. Yeah. You take the view of Jesus the extreme, man. Yeah. I'm sorry? Yeah. Because if you're saying Jesus never did that bad deed, his thoughts is also part of it too, right? If he thought bad thoughts towards people, that's also a bad deed too. You have to be consistent with your arguments. You're saying Jesus never had bad thoughts towards people? Of course he did. He's a human being. No, if he had bad thoughts towards people, he would have sinned against the Father. I'm like, okay. The Old Testament, he has God when he was sinners had bad thoughts towards people too. He murdered people. How do you reconcile that, man? You're being inconsistent with your arguments. It's a refutation. Yeah, that's my point. Samsara? Yeah. Yeah. I promise, guys, I will do an apologetic video. I might review the whole Sam Shaboon Shabir Ali debate, maybe. And I'll answer Shabir Ali's arguments against the Bible. But Sam answered a lot of the arguments, right? So I don't know if I can review that debate, but I mean, Sam already answered most of Shabir Ali's arguments when he did the debate. So I mean, it's kind of pointless to answer Shabir Ali's arguments. But the development topic, he didn't answer that though. He did a little bit. He said like there's a different the authors can bring out a different area of his ministry. So he did answer a little bit, but he didn't really answer in depth, especially with the development topic in the Gospels. And that's why they gave Shabir Ali the floor to destroy him in the end. When Sasha would debate Shabir Ali. That's why you can argue the debate was a back and forth, right? It was a close debate, obviously. So the debate was either a tie or Sam won by a bit. Because Sam Shamoun did beat Shabir Ali most of the time in the cross-examination. He dominated that part. But because they gave Shabir Ali the floor to destroy him again, it made him look bad. And that's why you can argue it's a tie, back and forth, or Sam won by a bit. But I mean, like, yeah. There's some Muslims who think Shabir Ali won too because they're biased, obviously. So it just depends on your interpretation of the debate, obviously. But that was Sam's first debate. When he just started his ministry, he wasn't that knowledgeable about Christianity and Islam compared to now. Obviously. There's a reason why Shabir Ali does not want to debate him ever again, because he did so well against him. Arguably beat him, right? Or you can argue it's a tie on his first debate with when he wasn't as well trained as he is now. Yeah, that's why Shabir Ali doesn't want to debate him. So, Sarah? Yeah. Sheikh Man's also good too, man. I know Sam Shamoun always says, yeah, Sheikh Man's a joke because Sam has an ego. But I mean, I'm like, Sam, you could have debated him at the park and you steered away. Why? Why'd you steer away, Ivan? I was a bit scared, Ivan. I didn't want to look bad on camera, yeah. He was scared, obviously. That's why he steered away. I know he says he didn't want to fall for Sheikh Man's tactics and all stuff. That could be a part of it, but I think Sam was a bit scared. That's why he steered away. Because Sheikh Man, you can argue he beat Anthony Rogers. I saw the whole discussion. You can argue that he beat Anthony Rogers, and you can argue that he beat David Wood too, man. When they had the discussion at the park, man. That's why Sam was like, David Wood embarrassed us. Because David Wood lost to Sheikh Man. He lost, yeah. He lost, yeah. Yeah, he lost, man. He did, yeah, man. Actually, you know, Sheikh Man is also good, too. He's a good debater, too. But he's never done a moderated debate, Sheikh Man. I want to see him do a moderated debate. But he steers away from moderated debates. He just likes debating people at the park. You know what I'm saying? But Sam Shamoun could have debated him, and he didn't debate him. He steered away. You know what I'm saying? I think he was a bit scared, because Sam has an ego. He has an ego. If Sam Shamoun, if he feels like he's losing the debate or something like that, he gets very angry, and he has an ego because he always wants to destroy his opponents because he has a huge ego, Sam Shamoun. That's why he always says Sheikh Man's a joke. You know what I'm saying? Shabir Ali's a joke because he has an ego, obviously. He has a big ego, right? Sam Shamoun, yeah. Yeah. Sheikh Man, I think if he debated Sam Shamoun in that park, it would have been a crazy back and forth. I think Sam Shamoun was scared. Yeah, Sheikh Man might give me, because Sheikh Man knows the Quran inside and out. He would have challenged Sam Shamoun too with the Bible. He challenged Anthony Rogers with the Bible, man. In the end, right? Yeah, with Jesus being in heaven. You have the human soul, you have his human nature, you also have the Son, now you have like four gods, some of that. Anthony Rogers was like, no. Yeah. That was a good argument, yeah. And Anthony Rogers, he didn't really have a great answer for that. He did good against Sheikh Man, but I think he lost, man. I think Anthony Rogers lost to Sheikh Man. He lost, man. Yeah, he lost. And David Wood lost too. He lost. He debated him, I think, like 3 times. I think he lost all 3 times. No, one time I think it was like a tie, but the other 2 times he lost, man. Because Sheikh Man made him look like a fool because David Wood, he's like, wait a minute. He's like, the land is here. Jacob Brown's like, yeah, and it made David look like a fool. Yeah. That's why Sam said David would embarrass us. That was funny, he said. In one of his videos, that was funny. I'm saying, yeah. It's actually funny. Yeah, man. I would love to see the debate Sheku Matt versus Sashman. That'd be a good debate. I think Sam would beat him, but Sheku Matt would give him all of his money. Yeah. I think Sam would beat him, though. Sam's an amazing debater. Yeah. Sam did challenge him, and Sheku Man ran away. He didn't want to debate Sam. Because Sheku Man knows Sam would beat him, right? Yeah, I don't want to debate Sam. If I debate him, he's going to beat me. Yeah, he'll beat him, but he'll give him off his money. Like, if you want to debate me, come to the park. Nah, man, Sam challenged you and you ran away. You could have debated him, and you don't want to debate him. Because you know, obviously. So, Sarah. Same time, Sash Moon could have debated Sheku Man at the park, but he steered away too. So it's like, they both ran away. It's actually funny. Sam ran away from debating him at the park. Sheku Man ran away from debating Sam in a moderated debate. So they both ran from each other. It's actually funny. Yeah. Hey, my food's ready, guys. I'm gonna go look at my food. I'll be back in a second, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this show I made for you. Alright guys, I'm back. Well, I was just to get my breakfast. What are you eating, Ivan? Eggs with sausage and ketchup. I made breakfast upstairs. So I hope I challenge you Christians out there. I think the whole thing of Jesus having a bad, I think it's bullshit, but I mean, most Christians disagree with me. They think Jesus never thought a bad thought and never did a bad deed, because you guys are crazy people. I think it's bullshit. Yeah. It's impossible for him to never think a bad thought, man. Come on, man. Lustful thoughts towards a woman? You guys are crazy. He never thought lustful thoughts towards a woman because his nature was holy. He was holy, Ivan. He was sinless. His nature sinless, he could never think a bad thought towards a woman. That's the Christian response. Okay, but in the Old Testament, he's also sinless as God. He did not take on human flesh. He does not have temptations, and he had murderous thoughts towards the children, and he murdered people in the Old Testament. And you're being inconsistent with your arguments, man. That's a refutation, yeah. See what I'm saying? And being inconsistent with your arguments, Christians. Jesus is the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament, right? Yeah, he murdered people many times in the Old Testament, man. Left and right, yeah. You got something called the Old Testament atrocities. Yeah. A lot of Christians are scared to debate the Old Testament atrocities because it does make the God of the Bible look like a tyrant, because he's murdering a lot of people in the Old Testament, but in the New Testament, Jesus is a saint. So what? I'm sorry? Do you know about the Old Testament, Ivan? I don't know that much about the Old Testament compared. I know a little bit about it, but not that much compared to the New Testament. But I've only read a few books in the Old Testament. I didn't read New Testament. I read all the Gospels. I read Acts. I read a bit of the New Testament. But I never read much of the Old Testament. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Ivan, how do you learn to do apologetics? Well, I'm self-taught. I learned apologetics from guys like Sam Shaboon, David Wood, all those guys. Because I used to watch ABN Sat back in the day, back in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. I used to watch the Jesus or Muhammad videos on ABN. And I used to watch, I saw all of David Wood's debates. I saw Sam Shaboon's debates. How to refute topics in the Bible. That's how I learned. I also read Answering Islam articles too. I read it down, like 8, 10 of them. I read it down, like eight, like 10 articles in Answering Islam. Yeah. That's how I'm self-taught. I have the wisdom of God, man. I'm God's son, right? The son of God, right? I have wisdom. Yeah. So if they would cast you out of the church, yeah, of course they would. If I taught this, they would cast me out of the church, man, as a heretic. Yeah, man. But the Christians are inconsistent, as I proved, right? In the Old Testament, Jesus is murdering people. New Testament, if he does a bad deed, it's now heresy. So it's okay for him as God when he didn't take on human flesh to kill people in the Old Testament. But it's not okay for him as God who takes on human flesh and has the human limitations and human weaknesses and temptations. He does a bad deed, it's now heresy. So the Christians are inconsistent with their arguments, yeah. Why? It says in the Bible, God cannot lie. I agree. As God, he cannot lie. Obviously. But as a man, he can lie because he took on human flesh. That's why I see it. Why? If Jesus lied one time, he would have sinned against the Father. He never did one bad deed in his life, Ivan. And I told you, I can throw the Old Testament verse right back at you, right? Yeah, there you go. The Christians are inconsistent with their arguments. Yeah. They're inconsistent. Yeah. Sarah? Yeah. 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 Yeah, my Zane's book is a masterpiece that I wrote. And the gates are not touching my money. That money's mine. They're not touching my money. Threaten me all you want. I'm still not something to you. I'm not doing that, man. No way. You already have your tens of trillions in your bank. The billions off the book is me and my wife's. It's not yours. You're not touching it. I'm going to be bold, man. You're not touching a dime off my book. The money's mine. It's not yours. I'm not sharing with the world the cards with your wife. No fucking way. I don't want to share with the world. Like, you guys are fucking crazy people, man. You know, Ivan's an innocent man. He doesn't even struggle with sex. Let's force him to share with all of us forever because you're fucking crazy people, man. I'm like, are you fucking crazy? I'd rather die than share with the world my way with a garbage. That. My life will be destroyed, man. Yeah. Yeah. Me and her sharing forever with the world with every new generation. That's crazy, man. Every day we have to fuck, I don't know, like 30 people a day because you guys are a mess. You're fucking crazy people, yeah. Sorry, man. You and your wife are too fucking out. We all want a piece of you. So the only way we can all get a piece of them is we have them share. You're fucking crazy people. Alright, we're a mess, man. We all want you and your wife. You know what I'm saying? The only way for us to get a piece of you is if you share it with us, Ivan. You have to spend, I don't know, 8 hours with VJ every day and you have to fuck people for the... You know, Ivan, you have your Jimmy Fallon show interview with your wife. You have your book signing sessions in Hollywood. We'll have you do a movie. We'll pay you like $10 million and you get to spend 8 hours with your wife. And after you have to have sex with like 10 people. 10 women and men. I'm like, you guys are fucking crazy people. I'm not accepting that deal. You crazy? My life will be destroyed, man. Me and my wife don't get the glowing beauty. And I'm getting garbage sex. And she sees hell every night. She's crying in my arms. It won't work. Well, she'll see my flesh. Because if I'm infected, you guys now see me, but you only see my flesh. You never see my spirit. That's why you want me to... That's why if I sell out, you guys now talk about me in the public eye. Because now when you dream, you see me, but you never see my father, but you now see my flesh. That's how it works, right? That's why if we're both infected, you now talk about us in the public eye. Because me and my wife are both trash, we're infected. That's why I'm not accepting that deal. No fucking way. I want to be fresh, and I want my wife to be fresh. I don't want to garbage and trash. I don't want to share with the world. And have the gates take all my money and give me peanuts, Sarah. Yeah. 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 Yeah, we scare Ivan with death. Hopefully we do when he sells. Even then I say no. Look, man, I'm not selling to you, man. I'd rather wake up 1 million and have you do me, man. But I know it's scared to die, but I'd rather wake up 1 million and have you do like that. No fucking way. Okay, Ivan, you made your choice. You're gonna pay for this, man. You're fucking with my money, with our money. And we don't want you getting your wife all fresh for yourself. You're gonna pay for this, Ivan. Because they're blind by their head with their crazy people. And that's when the evil hits me and I cry, man. I might have sleepless nights, yeah. I now know I have to have sex with my own stepmother. I have to have sex with VJ's mother, VJ's sister, her aunts, all those people, man. It's crazy. Yeah, by the way, Ivan, you have to pay to be with your wife. I'm like, okay, what? You know, Ivan, all the Hollywood women are lining up to have sex with you. I'm like, all of them? Yeah, Ivan, all of them. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't want to do that, man. Like, it's going to mess me up. Ivan, if you don't do it, you're never going to see your wife, man. They're going to tell me that. You have to do it, man. Because they think they control my relationship because they're crazy psychopaths. Yeah. And you also got to fuck your own mother, Ivan. My mom tells me, my stepmother, Ivan, you have to have sex with me too. You have to do it. I'm like, what? Yeah, Ivan, you have to do it. You have to give it to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, holy shit, these guys are wicked, man. Ivan, if you don't do it, you're never going to see your wife, man. Always crying. Yeah, it's crazy. The day happens, my stepmother, she takes me to, I don't know, in the hotel, the room. I don't know what's going to happen. And she takes off all her clothes. I'm like, holy shit, this is demonic. This is fucked up, man. This is my own mother, man, who raised me. Supposedly raised me, right? And she's like, give it to me. I'm like, what? I don't want to do it, man. I'm crying. I don't want to do that, man. You have to do it. If you don't do it, you're never going to see your wife. Oh, holy shit, this girl's a psychopath, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You guys are messing at me. Yo, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it. You have to do it. You're never going to see your wife. She's like yelling. I'm like, holy shit. I end up doing it and it fucks me up psychologically, man. I'm like, fuck, man. I just banged my own mother. Now I have memory of banging my own mother, man. And it fucks me up psychologically and mentally, man, now. Because I actually banged her. But she'll be pissed off because my father ran away, man. I gave her the warning. You want to touch me, you're going to get ripped off, man. All these women in Hollywood want to have sex with me. They're going to be a bit pissed off when they have sex with me. Because my father ran away, man. And it's probably going to hit the minds, yeah, I even set the whole thing up. Yes, I did, man. You wanted to touch me. You're going to get your bullshit rip-off sex. You're going to get ripped off. And they're pissed off because my father ran away. Yeah, man. You guys are stupid, man. Yeah, man. My stepmother will be pissed off too. Yeah, even though I had sex with Ivan, he ran away. Yeah, man, you got your bullshit sex, and I pay the fee. I take my money, I take my wife, I peace out. I'm not supposed to go and live around this world, movie stars, where, and you're left behind. So what'd you get by doing this, man? I set the whole thing up before I came. You can't do God here, man. When you guys watch my videos and you jack out to my videos, you guys are crazy people. You're gonna be pissed off too because my father keeps running away. Yeah, Ivan's father ran away. We never saw his father. We saw him bang women physically, but his father kept running away. Yeah, and it's bullshit sex. Rip-off sex. Amen. And my wife will be freaking out when I pay the fee. I'm saying, I don't know, I pay the fee, and for the first time I see Serene, VJ's mother. I'm like, what the I'm like, this is VJ's mother. What the fuck? She's lining up to have sex with me too. I'm like, this is fucked up, man. I see her mother. And VJ's going crazy, you know what I'm saying? I see VJ's money, Serene. I see her sister, Madison. Like, this is fucked up, man. They're lying to have sex with me, too. This is fucked up, yeah. And that's when VJ's freaking out. And once VJ knows her sister and her mother had sex with me, she might get into an argument and fight with them, man. She'll be pissed off. She might get into a fight with them because when it comes to me, the world's crazy, man. It's very demonic. There's a reason why my wife says freak out. She's freaking out. Like, she's angry. She's going crazy. She's angry. And she'll tell me, I want to fucking kill all those women who are touching. You know what I'm saying? But I told you, even as I pay the fee, she's still going to be cheating on me. And so I'm not going to do like that, man. You can't be selfish, VJ. Why you want your full cake? Because I know when I pay the fee, she's still going to be seeing those Hollywood men and banging on my back, right? I will never know. I'm going to keep fucking them until I see him and I see the light. And Ivan, man, the karma is a bitch, and Ivan ends up messing up two of those women in Hollywood. Yeah. Her prayer is hopefully Ivan just does his business and he just goes to the home, he gets his beer and the smokes. He watches YouTube. He's not tempted to hook up with any of them, but I end up messing up too like she did. There's no way I won't mess up. That's why the karma is coming our way, right? It's coming VJ's way, yeah. Karma's a bitch, yeah. But I won't mess up as bad as she did because I'm not stupid as her, but I will mess up, guaranteed. If I have sex with all the Hollywood women, there's no way I'm not going to mess up. I will. They're fucking catty women, man. I'm now like her. I'm now addicted to sex now. I'm no longer this Ivan who's a virgin and all stuff. No, I'm now a porn star and I'm now addicted to sex. Hence why now it's tougher for me to stay with them because I'm now addicted to the sex. I end up messing up too, but not as bad as her. I'm sorry. But I won't mess up, guaranteed. My wife is going crazy. Oh, she's freaking out. That's why once I pay the fee, she's peacing out with me because you know she paid the price to be with me too. It's worse for her because my wife was in Hollywood for. She sold out when she was, I don't know, like 7, 8 years old. So for, I don't know, since she was, I don't know, maybe 12 or like 13, she's been fucking guys for 20 plus years in Hollywood and in her life. Whereas me, I just pay a one-time fee, so it's not as bad for me. But my wife still paid a price. You're looking at a lot of women lying to have sex with me, man, in Hollywood. Something crazy. The gates tell me, Ivan, it's all the women in Hollywood are lying to have sex with you. I'm like, all of them? Yeah, Ivan, all of them. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm sure I don't want to do that, man. I'm gonna be messed up. It's gonna scar me, man. I'm against being a porn star. It's demonic. Ivan, if you don't do it, you're never gonna see your wife, man. They're gonna tell me that, man. Like, you guys are fucking wicked people, man. Yeah, crazy people. Yeah, man. Yeah, we have to force Ivan to be a porn star. Otherwise, he'll just stay a virgin. He'll be righteous. You know that, yeah. I can easily stay a virgin for the next 20, 30 years. No problem, man. Because I'm a holy good man. We have to force him to pay. Otherwise, he's never going to do it. Yeah, that's why those women in Hollywood know if we don't force Ivan to have sex with us, he's never going to have sex with us. And they know that. That's why they have to force him to do it. And how can we get Ivan to mess up if the women are fucking him and he's now addicted to sex? He'll not mess up because his mind's not mess like my wife's. That's why it's tough for my wife to stay away, because she has a sex addiction. She loves fucking guys. And now I love fucking women. Now it's tough for me to stay away. Because the gates turn me into a sex slave because they're wicked people. I'm sorry? Yeah. Yeah, man. That's why my wife is worrying once I pay the fee. Yeah. So it'll be messed up doing my own stepmother. That's fucked up. As well as doing VJ's own mother, too. It's a bit fucked up, man. Like, this is my wife's mother who raised her and gave birth to her. Because of why the world's a mess, they don't care, obviously. I don't care if VJ's my daughter, my stepdaughter. I want to fuck her. I want a piece of her husband, too. Because you guys are a mess. You're crazy people. VJ's sister, that's VJ's own sister, right? Stepsister. And she also wants to have sex with me too, because you guys are crazy people. You're a mess I made. And then that's why my wife will guarantee get into an argument with her mother and her sister. Once she finds out they banged me, she'll be pissed off, and she might get into a fight with them. That's why she's piecing out with me once I pay this fee. And all her friends are going to turn against her. They become demons. You think you can have that man Ivan all to yourself? She's like, yes, he's my husband. He's not your husband. She'll tell them that. Because they're crazy, they might get into an argument with her. All her friends are going to turn on her too. You think you can have Ivan all to yourself, that VJ? I'm going to tell her that, man. And VJ's like, holy shit, this is crazy, yeah. Oh my god, no. Once Ivan pays this fee, I'm running away with him. Yeah, she's running away with me. Because all her friends, her family are all going to turn on her, man. Because the whole game is protect the one. They don't want me and her being together. And they don't want me and her being king and queen. That's what the whole game is about, right? We don't want I and VJ being together. And we don't want them being king and queen. Smoking all the going beauty, yeah. Yeah, I pay the fee. I'm like, holy shit, this is demonic, man. Yeah, they're turning me into a porn star. Okay, Ivan, we're gonna film you in a hotel. All the Hollywood women are lined up to have sex with you, Ivan. Or I might pay the fee in Los Angeles. I don't know. I might pay the fee in Ottawa or maybe Los Angeles. I don't know, but I want to pay the fee somewhere. And I have to do it, man. And they're gonna turn me into a sinner, a porn star. And they're gonna film the videos, and the whole world will be watching it, jacking off to my videos. So you want me to pay the fee just so you can pleasure yourselves and jack out to my videos, man? Because you guys are. Hence why in the Bible, there's a reason why it says what? The Bible talks about the world being wicked, right? Yeah, it's symbols of you guys. You guys are wicked people, man. You're willing to have me pay to be my wife just so you can pleasure yourselves. Because you guys are crazy people. You're a mess I made. You're fucking crazy people, man. Just to pleasure yourselves, you want to make my wife pay a price for that. Just so you can pleasure yourselves and see me have sex. Because you're crazy people, yeah, man. No, we're a mess, man. Yeah, you're a mess I made. I may be fucked up in the head. I have psychotic thoughts and stuff. You guys are a fucking mess. Yeah, man. Yeah. So your wife will be, yeah. If when my wife finds out her sister had sex with me, and her mother had sex with me, if she ends up seeing them, she might get into a fight with them, like a fist fight and that kind of stuff, because she's demonized. It pisses her off that her sister and her mother touched her. She might not hit them, but she might yell at them and be angry. You know what I'm saying? But her mother and sister will be like, Vijay, you can't say shit, you cheated on your husband, but it's still fucked up knowing your own mother and your own sister banged your husband. It's fucked up, man. And so my wife is peacing out on me once I pay the fee. Because everything is all fucked up, yeah. Her family betrayed her. They turned against her. Yeah, you fucked my husband. She'll tell that. Yeah, and she'll be pissed off and get in an argument with her sister. Where her sister doesn't care because they're blind. Obviously, they all the women in the world want a piece of me too, right? Because you guys are crazy people. I've seen many attractive women in the world on the outside. I fuck that, but it's not hard for me to not want to do that. But with you guys, y'all, we all want a piece of you because you're crazy, man. Ivy, man, you're fucking perfect, man. You're God's son. You're so fucking handsome, man. We all want a piece of you, man. And VJ's so fucking hot and beautiful. We want a piece of that too, because you guys are messed up. You're crazy people, yeah. Yeah. So, Sarah? I have to clean my room. It was a mess. Yeah, I start cleaning it. Yeah. So your wife got into an argument with her mother, yeah. Oh my god, you guys are the gatekeepers, yeah, VJ, we're the gatekeepers. So that means we own Hollywood, VJ. You could have opened the door for me in Hollywood and you had me have a shitty career and you had me a porn star that caused mess in my husband's life. She's gonna figure everything out. Holy shit. Her sister has her 1 trillion will or 800 billion will, whatever it is. She's bigger than all the Hollywood executives. She was acting. Her mother is a gatekeeper. She's bigger than all the Hollywood executives. She's the boss of all those guys. Yeah, and she's shocked, man. Holy shit, I got played. But it's not as bad for her as it is for me. Because I was a poor bum dishwasher who made $900 every 2 weeks. And I find out my family are the Gates. I'm like, this whole fucking time you're this rich and you hate your wealth, me, fuck, you're evil, man. You have me work dishwashing? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, holy shit, these guys are evil, man. Yeah, and you had that flashback of my life and I thought they were poor and everything. They were average family. I got duped. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I know once I make that money out of my book, I'm not gonna make my billions on my book. I don't know, my 17 billion on my book. I get to live that amazing life with my wife, and the Gates are left out of my life. They're gonna be living their amazing life, but they're left out of my fame, right? They're left behind. Yeah. Give me a sec, guys. After the bathroom, I'll be back in a sec. Don't hate him, saying scary if you don't want to wait. Hope you guys enjoyed the show.